And welcome back to another episode of What's in Your Cup. I am your host, John.
And I'm your co-host, Mark.
And how's your week going so far?
It's going. Just very busy with work, but I'm glad to be here. This is actually kind of like a nice little escapism, you know.
So you're having a good time here?
I am actually having a good time here. I'm having a good time with the audience, having just a good time just learning about different things. And I know that not everybody does this, so it's kind of cool to be able to be like, hey, we have a podcast, and then watch everybody's eyes roll.
Like, oh, which one is it? I'll look it up. And then they can't find it because there's like 100 million other podcasts out there right now.
You know what the old saying is like, there's a million, what was it? There are many podcasts like this one, but this one is mine.
Yeah. There are many like it, but this one is mine.
You know, that's what it is.
Yeah. Been a good week for me. I went down to the office a couple times. We had happy hour with coworkers. That was fun.
We had lunch together that day.
We did. That was fun. We went to Omar's.
Yeah, shout out to Omar's, 39th Street, East Side, Manhattan. Y'all don't know about that, or if you do.
Had some good shawarma.
Got some good shawarma.
Then, I've just been editing all day. And my back is killing me because I don't sit in a computer chair.
Oh.
I sit in one of those. See, for Christmas, my family members bought me a, like you see on like film sets, the director will sit in like this wooden folding chair with linen, singing like that. So and I'm like, oh, I got this for free as a gift, so I'm going to use it as my computer chair.
No.
And it hurts my back. Like I can't, but I'm like, it's a free chair. So
stop being cheap, drop the $300 and you'll thank me later.
No, absolutely not. $300 for a computer chair?
My office chair, granted, I didn't buy it. I expensed it. But my office chair is a gaming chair that has a built-in fan. So you don't get swamp ass.
Built-in fan.
So you do not get... It's like for gamers. Like these are people who...
Yeah, they have to sit there for like 8 hours.
Yeah, and
playing
so,
video games.
You know, they'll get swamp ass. So, you know, they put on the fan and it cools you real quick.
Interesting.
You know, I can give you the link. I can send you the link.
But you see, being cheap is part of me. It's part of like my brand and my personality.
That can't be your brand. That can't be your personality.
And my style is being cheap.
Damn. I hate to say
That's
it.
me.
But
because I'm poor.
Where do you think the line is? Like being cheap versus like, damn, bro, you're being cheap. Like, you know, extreme cheapskates?
Yes.
Like, do you think that's more of a mental illness?
No, that's definitely a mental illness. It's like, I can understand cheap if it's like, oh, I like to go like if a good sale comes out, or I have like a coupon book that I keep because sometimes certain companies will send you coupon booklets. Like my parents have them too. So it's like, you could call that being cheap, but it's also like saving money.
Yeah, it's just being resourceful.
We also live in a very expensive city. So it's like the best thing to do. Like I go shopping at like Marshall's all the time or Old Navy all the time.
Shout out to Marshall's.
Because I'm like, you got good stuff. Like, I don't have to do designer stuff all the time.
I only shop clearance. I never shop full price. If you pay for full price for clothes, you're a clown.
They have good stuff. Like, or like you go like a specific thrift shop will resell it for like $200 less if you want to like buy yourself something nice for a change. You don't have to go directly to the shop, you know.
All right. Fair warning for thrift shops. New York City thrift shops are really just more expensive clothing stores, or there's a lot of them that are just like L Train Vintage. I know they're about to sue me for defamation. Y'all need to lower your prices. Anything, if there's a thrift shop in Manhattan that isn't Goodwill or Salvation Army, they're scamming you. They're scamming you.
Well, have you been to the Buffalo Exchange?
No, but is it expensive?
No, it's not really as expensive. It's got good deals in there.
That's good. We should go.
My problem is too many patterns.
Oh,
because I wear a lot of like solid colors or like button downs, and also they don't fit. I can't find anything in my size. They're always too small.
You know, a lot of people would say you have a European/Parisian sense of fashion, where like Parisians, I don't know about now, but you know, in the air quotes fashion world that I inhabit, like if you wear a lot of neutral colors, so you wear a lot of your grays, your beiges, your whites, your blacks, and you kind of just intermingle just base colors. That's a very like Parisian French way of dressing that they don't really like a lot of patterns, or it's all subtlety. You know, it's just being subtle. It's not like bang, you know, here's my Louis Vuitton, you know, my Gucci all printed out patterns. But I like patterns, so.
Well, I also wear a lot of what was I gonna say? I wear a lot of darker colors because they make me look thin.
You're pretty. You're like, I don't know. You're pretty thin. Like,
No, not around the gut.
hey, it's your wealth belly.
No, it's not wealth. No, it's not wealth. It's just fat.
Oh,
That's all
man.
it is. I'm honest. I'm down to earth. You know, I have a drink.
Look,
once
I
in a while.
know. Look, I know a lot of fat people. I would not say you're fat.
Look, it doesn't go to the thighs. It doesn't go to the ass. It goes to the gut.
Damn.
The belly. So I gotta start doing sit-ups.
You know what you should do? You should do a lot of what was it? I heard that weightlifting is actually better for removing fat than cardio. Like cardio is necessary, but cardio is really you just get rid of a lot of water weight, and then when you drink water, you get it back.
But I also don't want to gain more muscle than I already have.
Really?
'Cause that's most of what I do is weight training already. I actually want to like slim that.
You don't want to get swole?
No, I look at me.
Get big.
You see my shoulders?
Get big.
Like my arms like curve inwards. They don't go down flat. They curve inwards.
You know, a lot of men would kill for that problem.
To have their arms go in like that, like a football player?
No, like their arms, like your lats are big, so your arms like bow out. They don't
mine
like
do that. Look, mine do that.
Yeah. So it's like a lot of men will kill for that problem.
I appreciate my structure. It makes me look, menacing.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like if I got to go out in public, and if someone tries to rob me, they'll think twice.
That is true. You do have that.
Oh
like,
man, that guy's kind of big. Let me go for like the really skinny person with the purse.
No, there is a friend of ours that I was hanging out with. He's like, he's one of the bigger guys in our friend group. And he was like, we were just having a couple of drinks. He was like, to be honest, I feel like basically we got on the topic of like, out of our friend group, who do you think you could take on? And then he got on, he was like, not gonna lie, if it was like a group of you and Johns at a bar and y'all pressed me, I'm whipping out my knife real quick. He's like, I'm whipping out this knife real quick. He's like, I think I could take some of our friends or like most of our friends, but he was like, nah, John and you, like I would start swinging immediately. he was like, and if it's 3v1, I'm getting my ass whooped. That's why he's like, I'm bringing one of you guys down with me. I'm not going down.
See, what's funny is that my parents are always like, anytime I have to go down to the city, my parents are always the same thing, like, be careful when you get on the subway trains, or like keep your location on, or do this or do that. And then as I'm going out, I just like stare at them and I'll be like, who's gonna rob me? I'm like, look at me. Like, I'm usually twice everyone's size. Who's gonna rob me? And I look like I'm dirt poor too. They're gonna see me and be like, nah, he's not a good target.
You know what's crazy is I remember my grandma was telling me that in the Great Depression that a lot of people who like crime went down, like robberies, because people would break into a house and find out that these people are poorer than them.
Really?
So they would just leave. Like that like happens so many times. Like you're like, oh, I'm so poor, I'm starving. Can you break into this person's house? And you're like, damn, they're worse off than I am.
I only seen that. You ever seen those vines, like the really old vines of that? Literally that same topic.
That's like a blast from the past.
That's immediately what that reminded me of. It was like they break into the house and go like, oh, and then they gave him like a ski mask. Come with us. You need some help too.
Oh my gosh. No, my favorite like YouTube short / TikTok was it's like POV, you're getting robbed in 2060 and it's just like, give me all your money. He's like, yo, I don't got cash. And they take out a credit card reader, like, give me all your money. They're like, sorry bro, I don't got a card. They're like, give me your wrist. Like, and it's just like kind of, have you ever seen that movie with Justin Timberlake and he has the barcode?
Yeah.
It's like that. And but I'm just like, damn. But to go back to it, I think that out of our entire friend group, Yeah, you and the guy who we were just talking about
I know
would
who you're
be
talking
the
about.
two toughest challenges. And I'll face value. I don't know if anybody knows like Taekwondo or freaking like
No.
MMA in our friend group. Like even on down low, I'm just going strictly surface level.
I know how to be like too heavy to lift up,
Really?
so I don't think I don't think anybody's gonna be putting me in a, or gonna like pull some jujitsu and tackle me down because I'm too heavy. And I'm taller than most of the people we know. Like in our friend group, we're one, like you and me are
Yeah.
one of the tallest ones.
Really? I think Mike is taller than me. I think we've had this conversation like off the
I don't
podcast
think
before.
so. I
I'm
think
pretty
you guys
sure
are
Mike.
probably like the same height. I don't think either of you. Are taller.
Remember when Mike used to have his afro and he used to count his afro like
In
in,
the
his
measurement?
height?
Yeah.
So he would be like, yeah, I'm like one of the tallest people in our class, and they're like squishing his hair down. He's like, you're not supposed to do that. Oh man. Anyways, I know you were talking to me before we started the episode about you have some updates regarding Los Oscuros.
Yes, I wanted to go back to the Oscars. We've done it 3 times already, but I want to go back to the Oscars again.
Let's do a fourth.
So from last episode, I went on a bit of a rant last time, an emotional rant, just for like the sake of like an awards ceremony.
It was needed though.
Area where people are complaining about how it didn't win and this and that, especially because we're talking about the Barbie snubs, et cetera, et cetera. Now, should I have gone on that rant in the state that it was? No, I shouldn't have gotten so emotional. On a professional level, I shouldn't have gotten so emotional. But let me
Good
say,
word, but.
But let me say right now, I don't take back anything I said.
I think a lot of people agree with you.
I don't take back anything I said. I like, as I was listening back to it and I'm thinking to myself, like, I shouldn't have gone like that emotional from it.
I don't know. I think you're being a little hard on yourself. I think it needed to be said. I do believe that there are a lot of people who just want Barbie to win because they're like, oh, it was this cultural phenomena. Like, but being a cultural phenomena versus being an Oscar-winning movie are some, I would say every Oscar-winning movie is a cultural phenomena, but not every cultural phenomena in cinema is an Oscar-winning movie.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I don't know, Avengers or in the Marvel universe is a culture, probably the biggest example, largest example of a
Yeah.
cultural phenomena, but they're not Oscar-winning movies.
Yeah, most Marvel movies that make hundreds of millions of dollars have no nominations at all and
Yeah.
don't win any awards.
And the only reason why I think people want Barbie to be nominated is because it has, and you said this, in your testimony. I'm not going to call it a rant. I'm going to say testimony. Was that it had a good message, and that a lot of people kind of say like, oh, if Barbie doesn't get it, it's because the Academy is sexist.
Yeah, it's like making the point where you're making excuses for yourself. Like, yes, you campaigned very heavily, but you can't just come up with excuses for why it didn't so you can like try to change the opinion. It doesn't work like that.
And it's so insulting that people will seriously say Barbie was the same caliber as Oppenheimer.
And the only reason I think they're doing that is because more people went to go see Barbie than Oppenheimer.
But all the people who saw Oppenheimer and Barbie, like a good friend of ours, she said she went to go see Oppenheimer first, then Barbie, and she was like, why am I in this Barbie theater? Like,
Yeah.
Oppenheimer was such a better movie than Barbie.
Like completely separate calibers.
Yeah, like not even in the same. But continue, please.
So going off of that, I just wanted to bring that up first. Like, I shouldn't have gone so emotional, but I do feel that way. But getting like that angry about it, I shouldn't have, at least for me, I felt bad a little bit. I shouldn't have gotten that upset. But I also wanted to bring up how I wanted to go more in depth with like Oscar campaigns, or like how you get into a nomination, or how you like do your submission stuff, because I feel like a lot of people don't know how that works.
I don't know how it is either. I thought like you were pre-selected, like you were like the Academy pre-selects who should be in the Oscars.
No, it starts off with a submission, a very expensive submission, and then like you have to pay for like screenings for Academy members to go watch the movie, or sometimes like ad campaigns will go on. Some of the most expensive ones will go on for like 15 million.
15 million for
For
and
an
this
Oscar
is per
campaign.
Oscar, or this is like, so if you want to, let's say, have like multiple nominations, you pay different fees for each nomination, or is this just like to get it considered for all the Oscars?
To when you're making your submission to consider for all of these categories, you just make that one submission, but then the payment, no, you pay for that one submission, and then if you want an Academy member to like review it, sometimes it all depends on how the Academy members actually go to see the movie, and there's different versions of doing that, but it's like I think the submission fee is only once, and then but if you want a campaign, you have to pay all that separately on your own. And the most expensive ones will go up to like $15 million paying for advertising for an Oscar campaign.
So then,
Out of the producer or the distributor's pocket, not the Academy's.
so that's really interesting. So I guess walk the audience and myself through, I guess, just from you make the movie to we are being nominated to an Oscar.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to just kind of give that kind of explanation so more people are kind of informed on the topic, so they know more about it and why it's very important to campaign for your movie for a lot of reasons, even though like the immediate thought to yourself is that when you're doing an award ceremony, you think it should be based on like the best one, but there's a lot of politics involved in it. Just from just campaigning itself, there's a lot of politics, unfortunately.
So you're basically paying like a lobbyist, for lack of a better term, to go to the Academy.
The producer or distributor is basically lobbying for this movie to get more attention from the Academy so that it makes it into more nomination categories and potentially wins.
And the Academy, and I know I have asked this question before, so forgive me for not remembering. The Academy, is this like an entity? Are these like industry professionals, random ass people? Like who is the Academy?
So the Academy is just a group of individuals chosen to run the organization where they categorize and like choose for these award ceremonies. Basically, I think they're I don't know if they're all union based or not, but there's a lot within it. It's a very complex group, but a lot of times a lot of these guys have basic day jobs. They're ordinary people.
Oh, so they're not like actors or actresses. They're like
most of the time they're not. I think sometimes
Really?
they are. Like if you look at like SAG-AFTRA, they're run by a lot of actors or like union people specifically, right? So but the Academy, when they're viewing these movies for the consideration, that's outside of their day job. That's not a part of their day job.
I thought they got paid to do that.
No, well, I think they do sometimes, depending on like how badly like the producer or distributor wants them to like see the movie for their consideration. But again, that all depends if you can even get in touch with them, because it's very difficult to be able to do so. So when the Academy members are viewing everything, they simply just don't have enough time to go through the submissions that year.
There's so many questions, kind of like, is there a section of the Academy that all they do is watch movies for special effects or like for, best supporting role, or, do they watch the entire movie or do they just watch like a quarter of it?
It depends on what they can actually see.
So it's like, if they got to watch, like, for example, if I sit on the Academy and they're like, you got to watch 300 movies by March, I'm not watching 300 movies. Like, shit. I'm probably just going to watch like a quarter or half of the movie, spark notes the other half, and then make my decision that way.
Yeah, but there is like Academy membership requirements. Like you can apply to become a member of the Academy.
Are you going to apply?
I don't know. It requires, let's see.
You should apply.
It has 18 branches for the class, ranging from actors to writers. The members at large category for people who work in motion pictures as a representative. There's a lot of requirements for each brand and category. Oh, to get in, you have to be sponsored by 2 Academy members from the branch to which the candidate seeks admission. So let's say if I wanted to work in the writers branch, 2 of them that work there already have to sponsor me and say, we want this person in because he's good at what they do.
But like, I know this is kind of crazy. Who is the, like, is there a roster of people who are in the Academy?
I think the only ones that are present are like the president, vice presidents, that kind of thing.
I'm going to Google this.
It says that Academy membership is limited to film artists working in the production of theatrically released movie pictures. So everyone in there is technically like a member of Hollywood in some way. Or they all work in the craft of motion pictures in some way or another. They just happen to have that Academy membership position.
So the Academy's CEO is Bill Kramer. Do you know who that is?
I do not know.
And then they've invited Austin Butler, Kiki Palmer, Stephanie Huzu to the actors branch, Alexandra Montage, Rachel G. Tenner to the casting directors branch. And this is from the Oscars, like the aframe.oscars.org, for those who are wondering. James Friend, KK Senthil Kumar, Bob Buck, and Linda Muir. And then finally, Joseph Konsinki, I feel like I know who that is, and Maria Schrader. Those are the invitees to the Academy.
That's interesting, but I can only imagine how much. Well, I guess maybe being a member and then how much you actually give into it can be different. Like, how could somebody. Like, Taylor Swift is a member, right?
Taylor Swift's a member of the Academy?
Taylor Swift is a member of the Academy, too. But it's like.
Why?
I don't know. It's just
like,
weird.
What?
The Academy is just an organization that represents these categories for like award ceremonies and for support and everything like that. It's complicated. It's not an
This
easy
feels
thing
like
to
a
describe.
really secret world that there should be a documentary on.
Well, then again, the only way to get in is through sponsorship. You can't apply to the Academy and
This is a secret
like that.
society.
Yeah, but apparently from June 29th of last year, there are reportedly 398 new members, mixes of artists and entertainment executives that were invited to join the Academy.
Okay, so
Just in that year. Yeah.
So then assuming, let's just say there's 1,000 Academy members. And so do all 1,000 watch every single, or like somehow watch or campaigned on or whatever, every single Oscar movie? Or is it like the directors only watch these section of movies because that's the only movies that are being nominated for that? You know, like they kind of divide and conquer.
I think to make it into the category, well, after they submit their thing, the only way, so let's say if you're in the director's branch, right? You're not going to know if the movie has good direction in it unless you watch the whole thing. So regardless of which section you're in, you have to be able to watch it. So, but like, just imagine how many people are submitting movies. And you take someone like Taylor Swift, who just got brought in. How does she have the time to go through all that stuff? She doesn't. That's the point.
She probably pays people to watch the movies for her.
Or she just follows along Oscar campaigns that people pay millions of dollars for and just go off of what the internet says is the best thing to do.
So for the audience, explain what like the Oscar campaigns are.
So the Oscar campaigns, I'm going to bring up a quick thing here. So most awards campaigns involve placing like advertising for like basically for the Academy's consideration for their movie. So for example, they do like talent appearances and industry seminars. They do invite only parties for Academy members to come join them, or they do press coverage. They do extra screenings of films in like private theaters for their members to come see it. They do online or mail DVDs. They do direct emails or direct marketing messages to voters. It's basically it's a political campaign. It shouldn't be,
but it is.
But it is, because unfortunately, there's just not enough time or
resources
for them to really be able to view everything appropriately. You know, it's not easy. Like like if you do a sports tournament, right, and you get to judge the person who's like has the best scoring points this year, or somebody who's the MVP player, or the let me be more specific. Let's say we're going through like the NBA finals.
Yeah.
And you choose the team. Like it's easy to do it for sports because there's like numbers and evaluations you could do off of their activity, right? Here it's different. You're judging artwork as a competition, which makes it a lot more difficult.
And artwork is a lot more subjective.
And a lot more time consuming as well. So it's very difficult. But one of the big things about it is that, let's see. Like even like according to the New York Times, like Mailed screeners are no longer permitted. However, films are typically uploaded to the Academy's online screening room at a cost of $20,000.
So that means you have to pay $20,000 for the Academy to watch your movie.
To watch their movie, for their consideration to watch the movie. And since you can't contact them directly, they try to reach them in other ways, such as $90,000 cover ads in the trades and paid email blast through the guild.
So, okay, so let's just do quick math. Assuming you did a $90,000 ad, you pay an additional $20,000. So you're already at $110,000 just for your movie to be seen by the Academy.
By an Academy member.
And that's just one movie.
And you don't even know who's seeing it. It's just for them to take a look at it.
And where does this money go? Like, what does the Academy do?
They just, it also helps cover costs for the Academy themselves. Like to be able to host the Oscars at a venue and everything like that costs a lot of money. So most of it goes towards the award ceremonies or towards I don't know specifically, but everything that they pay towards the Academy is done to pay off their costs.
Oh wow.
That's mostly what it's for, yeah.
You know, and then in your opinion, do you think there's like a conflict of interest? Because let's say like you get a really wealthy producer that flaunts $1 million, let's say, in lavish parties, you know, screening only for the Academy, you know, wining and dining them, all this, and then they win an Oscar. You know, is this all public knowledge? Like, oh, you know, this movie spent this much money for an Oscar, you know, or for lobbying to have an Oscar versus like this movie?
Most of the time it is public, but
nobody's really I didn't know it.
Yeah, so. Nobody's really paying attention to it, but it is mostly like the online advertising is mostly public knowledge. Private screenings or private parties, obviously not, because they just don't want that to be. They don't want I'm pretty sure like the Academy members don't want to be seen in that light. Also,
because it's conflict of interest.
Like if a producer takes out an Academy member that they know personally to like a fancy club or dinner for a night, all expenses paid, just to talk about how good their movie is, doesn't not look good.
And then especially if they win that same Oscar,
it doesn't look good.
It does not look good at all.
It's like the mayor or the governor taking out another
business person
for this.
All of a sudden they get it. Their husband gets a contract to build the Buffalo Bills Stadium.
Yeah. So it's one of those scenarios. So I don't know. It feels like I'm just repeating myself, but it feels like something that shouldn't be a thing, but it is a thing.
And so can you reform? Like, are there people that want to, like, I don't want to make this like political, but you know, like the idea of, you know, unlimited money. Like, do you think there should be campaign laws around the Oscars? Do you think, you know, not to make this sound bad, but do you think people care enough, or should they care, you know?
I think they're caring more and more about it as the years go on, because as more time has gone on, there have been changes to campaign or like voter regulations through the Academy. Like as the years have gone on, like what's his name? Like a guy named he's an Academy member and a publicist named Stu Zakim, who's been in the Academy for I think almost 4 decades or longer than 4 decades. He's been there for a very long time.
And he's a writer.
He's a publicist and a board member. Wait. Or is he just a member? Let me double check that real quick. I don't want to be saying stupid shit and then getting caught for it. Hold on. Okay, so he is an Academy voter and publicist.
Oh.
So, but he's been there for a very long time. And he's noticed over the years that things have changed. Like regulations have changed, the way that the voter considerations have changed. Also, because now that, you know, biggest thing is like use of social media and all those practices and things like that. So to me, adding more rules to the campaign would probably make it in a more professional setting. But a lot of the time, a lot of what the campaigns actually do is also create more publicity for the movie itself. So while it's also vying for an Academy Award, you're also selling more tickets, you're selling more streaming rentals, things like that. That's another part of the Oscar campaign. So that's why they don't really put a lot of restrictions on Oscar campaigns to begin with, because they make the movie more money in the long run.
Oh.
So it's one of those things. But it's, again, it kind of interferes with perception of the nominations.
Yes, like if we found out that Oppenheimer, for example, spent $1 million, or like Christopher Nolan and the producers of Oppenheimer spent $1 million trying to get the Academy to get an Oscar, and all of a sudden they get an Oscar, people are going to be like, oh, did you really deserve that Oscar? Or did you only get that because you wine and dine the Academy, to oblivion? And now you have an Oscar.
Yeah, like there's two movies in particular I wanted to talk about that I actually found through an ABC News article, and I'm quoting from the article as well. I wrote a lot of this stuff down. Do you remember La La Land, right? That
Yes.
was like a big like critically acclaimed musical production, everything like that. Like it had like rounds on talk shows, news programs, press coverage. They shared a lot of personal stories of how they struggled just to get the movie made.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So it created like that sympathy for it at the same. Like whenever you see actors going on TV shows or press interviews or things like that, that's just to talk about the movie itself and how good it is and why it deserves everything it has and things like that. So that was like La La Land's way to get into the Oscars, right? But then you have another movie called Lion. You ever seen that one?
No.
I think the main actor's name is Dev Patel. He's an immigrant that was given away at a young age so that he can go live a better life, but then he comes back decades later to try to find his birth parents. And the movie's called Lion. That, and then the ad campaign, the Oscar campaign that they did and all the advertising was also done at the same time where Donald Trump's foreign policies and like banning immigration was also a big thing. So they kind of led with that to sell its Oscar campaign a little bit more. And it did get its own nomination as well.
Did it win?
I don't know if it won or not. I think La La Land won Best Picture, right? But it was nominated as another Best Picture nominee. It just didn't get Best Picture. So, but it's a very strategic element because it's a lot of PR
like
people
that,
and a lot of marketers just trying to. You're trying to award yourself, basically, sell yourself. But at the same time, you also have to take into consideration critics themselves. You can only get that if you watch the movie, which a lot of times that they don't. And
critics won't watch a movie, but they'll still criticize the movie?
Well, critics have to. Like most critics do because they have their own spare time to do it. And there's so many more of them out there to begin with. But some Academy members, like according to Stu Zakim on this same ABC News article, Academy members have like they're normal people as well, so they can't do everything. And they've admitted to making votes based strictly on Oscar campaigns. They never even watched the movie they voted for. So when you think about that, it's really like,
Do you see my face?
Yeah, I see your face.
It's like, that's so crazy.
You have like a very disappointed.
So they're just looking at, vibes. That's literally what they're just voting on is like, this movie looks good or this movie doesn't look good.
Yeah.
Wow.
So a lot of them trust these Oscar campaigns to tell them what's good and what's not good, rather than actually critically analyzing it themselves.
That's so asinine. Like, obviously, they're going to campaign and tell you how good it is. And at the end of the day, anybody can say, it's not about how much, work we did. It's how much money we spent on whining and dining you, campaigning you.
Or how well we convinced you to believe that our movie is the best one. Same thing for do you remember the movie Moonlight?
Yeah.
That was a critically acclaimed one and then got an Oscar as well, I think. They had 7 different events in New York alone where Academy members had a chance to interact with the director and the talent as press coverage kind of thing, just to see how the movie was made and how important it is and all that stuff like that. So, you have to think about those things too. So just going back to more of that article I was referencing, Zakim has stated that the logic behind reining in campaigning is the hope that you'll be influenced less by campaign tactics and more by the film itself. Funded by the studios, an Oscar campaign can cost anywhere between $3 million to $10 million.
What? So
if you go all out with your campaign, your marketing campaign, it's between $3 to $10 million. Outside, and this is outside of production budget and distribution fees and everything. This is a completely separate bill.
So do you think producers can kind of tell this is an Oscar winning movie? Like they are going to put the money aside. Like who pays for this? The producers, the production studios,
the lead producer or the distributor of the film is the one dishing out the money to get this film an Oscar.
And what is obviously we all know Oscars are like a real big staple, but the Oscar comes out already when the movie has its rounds through the movies, you know? Mm-hmm. It's not like, oh, Oscar winning, movie is coming out right now, you know? So then what's like, all right, from a production viewpoint, from an actor's viewpoint, we know why people want an Oscar. From a production viewpoint, what does it really matter?
Well, also remember that the company producing it does get noticed in a way. So because remember, every time you watch a movie, the production companies
we have an Oscar too, guys.
Their stuff comes in, right? So the more that they see it, they'll think oh, it was produced by this company. Maybe we should watch more of their movies later on. That's what it's really about. And obviously for actors, having an Oscar is the ultimate brag.
Yeah.
You don't win any money for it, but it's I'm an Oscar-winning actor or actress. If you put me in this movie, it's guaranteed that I'm going to make you something in return. Now that everybody knows who I am and they know how talented I am and what I bring to it. And also actors do take advantage of that a lot, which they can. They're allowed to do that, but to the point where they're making high demands on sets, and it makes productions very difficult.
Who's the most difficult that you've heard of to deal with on set?
Usually the diva kind of actor is usually very difficult to work with. They want very specific things for their trailer. They want I only work on these separate days because I want to do this. I think Sam Jackson has a contract clause that he's allowed to go golfing whenever he wants, and you have to work around his golf schedule. I think it's Sam Jackson who has that.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn, Disney about to be you really want to go golfing?
No. But he's one of those actors where it's he's Sam Jackson. You're gonna give him whatever he wants. It's like giving Marlon Brando whatever he wants because they know he's a solid. Rest in peace. But he was a solid.
He's coming to the table, and you're gonna make a movie.
Yeah. In one story, I remember I was watching a movie review for. You know the Alien franchise, right? The Xenomorphs, the horror sci-fi thing. Do you remember Sigourney Weaver, the actress?
No.
She was she played Ripley, the main character, the main female character.
Oh, yeah.
So her character is in every movie, and then after I think Aliens 2, after Aliens, sorry, there's no 2 at the end of it. After that movie came out, I think she won an Oscar for that. Mm-hmm. So when she got her Oscar for Alien 3, they started making she started making more demands for that movie. For example, I think one of her demands was that she wanted no weapons to be used in the movie at all.
What?
You've seen Aliens, right? Or Alien?
Yeah.
They use weapons in that movie. They use
they use
machine guns
and
things like that. Yeah. She wanted no weapons in the movie at all.
So that everybody just dies?
And then, did you see Alien 3 by any chance?
No.
So Alien 3, so the first one is horror, straight sci-fi horror. The second one's sci-fi action horror. The third one is more like Shawshank in space. That's kind of with a xenomorph that landed on the planet. Mm-hmm. So, no, it didn't land on the planet. It snuck on the ship. However, it got there. So it's a very dark, depressing version of it and completely different from Aliens. But she wanted no guns in the movie because she won an Oscar. She had a lot of clout, and that was one of her demands. But But if you think about it from a production standpoint, it makes no sense. You want to stick this character who's been through hell twice on a prison planet. By the way, she's the only female on a male prison planet, and you want no weapons in the area at all. You want them to have no weaponry. The only thing they have is a metal bar and maybe a shank. It makes no sense. It affects the production.
That's just an actress trying to be a director at that point. It's no.
It's just that's one of those scenarios where an actor is using their social status as an Oscar award winner for their political opinion, almost in a way. I'm against weapons, so I don't want it in this movie. But you're also fucking up the production, and we're losing money.
And nobody goes to see a movie and be like, oh, there's guns in it, I don't like it.
Yeah.
Like,
if anything, weapons sell more tickets.
like John Wick. Like
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves is not big into guns, but
Like I said it before,
Yeah.
like what sells the most are violence, sex, nudity, and gore. In America, that's what sells the
Yeah.
most. And it like, so scenarios like that do happen, and they happen all the time. Like people make demands all the time, but it's like, compare like Sam Jackson's requirements
Yeah.
compared to Sigourney's, and then you think to yourself like, this is gonna fuck up the production if we do this. Versus where it's like we can work around a golf schedule, you know.
yeah. I wonder who. I remember The Rock has a clause in his contract that, or a couple of clauses where like the first one is he's not allowed to lose a fight. Like he
Multiple action movie stars have that. Like
Yeah,
Vin Diesel has that. Jason Statham has that.
like they're not allowed to lose a fight. Also, where he has to be able to do the eyebrow thing in all of his movies.
Really? I didn't know that one.
Yeah, like in every movie he has or he's in, he's done the eyebrow thing.
Oh, because of his old like wrestling days where he used to do the
Yeah.
eyebrow thing? Yeah.
So in every single movie, no matter how serious or how comedic it is, he has to be able to do the eyebrow.
I did not know that one. I knew about the never losing a fight, but I didn't know about that one.
If I was a producer or slash a production house or like a distributor and an actor was acting like that, I'd be like, that's my Oscar. Like, did you front the $3 million? No? Okay, now shut the fuck up. And
But a lot of times they do give in, because then remember that person also has the fan base behind them as well. If they're a
Yeah.
very popular actor,
but then you just gotta cancel them.
just bring up some bullshit.
You just gotta bring up some bullshit and just cancel them. Be like, I will drag your career through the mud.
But socially or politically speaking, whose side would the fans take more?
It really depends on the fan base.
Or the series itself.
Yeah, so okay, let's take the two extremes. Will be like Taylor Swift, and then like I feel like Taylor Swift fans will follow her to the grave. That like it could come out where she's like doing crazy wild ass shit, and then people would be like, nope, I'm still standing by her. Like
Out of principle, I have to stand by.
Yeah. And it's kind of crazy because I feel like it's just a cultural phenomena at this point. And then who would be like the opposite extreme where all their fans, like, and then you have like, I don't know, Shane Dawson, where all of his fans just dropped him. So I think that it really depends on the fandom and how the fandom is made up and how loyal the fandom really is to, you know, that individual.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of who has like a really strong hold grip on their fan base. Like people go and see a movie because this actor or actress is in it. Like the first person that's coming to mind for me would be just like the Marvel franchise. So like Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., you know, Chris Hemsworth. But they're like grip, like that was like peak Marvel. Since they're gone, like Marvel's fans have notoriously been like strong. And, you know, our friend, you know, the guy we were talking about, he's like a huge Marvel fan. And he's like, he literally told me, he's like, I don't go and see Marvel movies anymore. Or like, I'll just wait till they're on Disney Plus.
Well, there's a lot of reasons for why they're not doing very well right now. But yeah, their actor participation was one of like the bigger reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who else would have a really strong following? Like, I don't know who would have like in the actors world. So I feel like a lot of actors.
If you want to say maybe Timothy Chalamet, but not for like. Well, also he's
It's just like the fuck boy.
He's like the pretty boy actor that everyone wants to be around.
Yeah. I agree with you. And also I think he's like a rising star. Like him, Tom Holland, Zendaya. I'm trying to think of like another young not up and coming, but they're like
Jenna Ortega.
Yeah, Jenna Ortega. Like these are like the new generation of actors that are gonna be with us. Like you know, you and I.
Like don't get me wrong, they're very talented.
100%.
Individuals. They do a great job every single time. But the fans are more like, I'm like a fan of. Well, also they're young as well.
Yeah.
So like I'm a fan of them because they're just like these really cool celebrities that I want to be around. These very good-looking celebrities I want to be around.
You know, I think that Timothy Chalamet is a really good example of that. Or, I'm trying to think. They're like at the, you know, remember Cole Sprouse? This was like So like Riverdale,
Sweet Life.
yeah. But
Cody.
like he was on Riverdale, so he had like a really big cult following.
I haven't seen Riverdale.
Oh, consider yourself lucky.
It's like is it? Didn't it start off as just like a high school thing, and then it turned into like a horror?
So Riverdale season 1 and 2 was actually really.
Actually, before we do that, I'm checking time. Let's you know what? Let's do the drinks right now before we continue because we've made it pretty far. So let's do this right now. So then I made the drinks again.
I have to make the drinks one day.
Well, you're also coming here, so it's easier for me to do it. But anyway,
smells good.
Give a physical description before.
Looks like apple juice, like bubbly apple juice. Smells like berries. Oh wow, that's strong.
Did I pour it heavy?
I needed that. But yeah, this drink is pretty good. It's a little strong. It's definitely wine.
Okay.
Yeah, I know my wine, but I think you mixed it with a carbonated drink because there's bubbles, and I feel like there's a heavier alcohol in there.
Do you want to give it more time, or do you want to just give it now? Because we're about 50 minutes in.
All right. I'm going to put my guess in now. I'm pretty confident in this one.
I'd say give it one more sip just to be careful.
One more sip, folks. Here you go. Some ASMR for you.
There you go.
You feel the tingles yet?
And you know that I pour heavy, so.
Okay, there's definitely a burn. And wine doesn't burn, you know?
If it's strong enough, it'll burn.
Okay. I'm thinking wine, some ginger ale.
Interesting.
Because I'm trying to... No, there's no sparkling water in here. Okay, wine, ginger ale, and tequila.
And tequila.
There's something there. Some
wine, ginger
some hair
ale,
is
tequila.
growing on my chest as we speak right now. Something's burning.
Okay.
It's either that or I'm the biggest bitch in terms of drinking, and I don't know how I have devolved.
Well, I went over a quarter of the glass just for the alcohol. So.
Oh shit. Okay. That's my final guess. I'm still...
So wine, ginger ale, and tequila.
Yes.
Okay, you got the ginger ale. You got that part. There is ginger ale in here. But I mixed it with mango pineapple vodka.
Oh shit.
Yeah. But did you like it at least? This is a new combo. I haven't tried this yet.
Pineapple. Oh,
it's vodka. It's vodka. Yeah.
No. This is what I'm telling you guys. Oh my gosh.
This time I'm making you do it.
Oh my gosh, guys. Somebody call the police. Somebody call the police. But going back to what we were talking about,
going back.
Riverdale. So Riverdale season 1 is pretty good, actually. I know, hot take. It's a CW show, so obviously take that with a grain of salt.
I have I could go into that for like why they've changed over time. I'm not going to do that because we'll be here all day, but you go.
Yeah. Future. We're going to put a pin on that. I would like to explore that thread.
Yeah.
But it's a CW show, and it actually started off like a mystery. So if I remember correctly, the first season basically there's killings in this small New England town. Right, and it's kind of like a rich and poor, kind of vibe going on. And it's based on the Riverdale comics. You got Archie, Jughead. Oh, I forgot the girl's name. But there's a girl name, and then, there's a bunch of other characters.
Okay.
Veronica, she was the hottest, so that's why I remember her name.
Was there also a Betty?
That was her name, Betty. So it's Betty, Veronica, Artie, Jughead, and Cheryl.
Or Artie?
Artie,
okay.
Artie. No. Archie.
Yeah.
It's based on the Archie comics.
Okay.
I stand corrected. But Riverdale, though, it was like a mystery because, you have these murders and who's doing this and, and there's this whole, like, kind of really complicated plot. For the show that it is and the audience that it's targeting, it's a very complicated plot. And it was a pretty good show. Season 2 was okay. They kind of expand it. They kind of bring in new characters at the end of season 1. But at some point, it just becomes like a joke. Like literally, I think somebody develops powers Like it's so weird.
Yeah, that's what
like there's this really this character named Cheryl that basically she becomes a lesbian and she
Nice.
gets like
That's her superpower.
yeah, that is her superpower. But then she becomes like this metamorphing character that like can float and people are like she just uses her lesbian powers. But yeah, Riverdale, I stopped watching that show a while ago. I should rewatch season 1. It's pretty good. But, you know, one movie I wanted to talk to you about was, have you seen the movie Dumb Money?
I have not. I know what it's about, and I do want to see it, but I haven't seen it yet.
It's a really good movie.
It's actually really good. It's got Seth Rogen in it.
Yeah,
right?
and it's not. And remember, last week when I talked about like how my girlfriend wanted the era of the 3-hour movie to end.
Yeah.
This is an hour and 45 minutes, and I feel like a lot of the story was told.
Yeah.
You know, so I was just thinking about how you were saying how like it's really up to the director and how to tell his or her story.
Yeah.
And that this director only needed an hour and a half, an hour 45 to tell the story. Mm-hmm. And they did it really well. Like they did it. It wasn't like, it didn't feel rushed. You know, it wasn't oh, the plot isn't moving along or anything like that. But yeah, it's about the GameStop crunch shorting. And I did some research after I watched that movie. And the Wall Street Bets Forum, they still have what is called MOAS. So it's the mother of all shorting stock. So like GameStop, so Roaring Kitty, the guy who like started this like squeezing of GameStop stock, they believe created this movement, right? And that they're going to find that these like Redditors are going to find what they call the MOAS. You know, and they're gonna crumble like all the hedge funds across the world. That they're gonna find some random ass stock that they're just gonna hold. And there is a term that they use in the movie that like on Reddit they use called diamond hands. Like diamond hands, meaning we're not selling, we are holding to the moon. Like, okay, because it's not driven financially. Like they don't care, so they'll hold on to a stock. It'll go up to $1 million, and they'll be like diamond hands. I'm not touching that stock, and it's just it was a really funny movie too because they use a lot of like internet Reddit slang. Like, are you familiar with kind of like Reddit slang?
No, I'm not.
So they said like I
only use Reddit if I need to like ask a very particular question.
But I know like
or Quora. Quora also does that too.
Quora, that's a real one. But I know that what's the word that you have the ape army in the Wall Street Bets, and the apes are like those who are like, we want to destroy the system, like blah 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 blah.
But like I feel like a group like that could actually do a lot of damage.
No, they did.
They did a lot of during like the Robin Hood stuff, right?
So they addressed that, the Robin Hood, and how like Robin Hood stopped trading of GameStop because they didn't have the liquidity to cash out. So everybody was, selling or like, starting to sell no. Everybody was holding and Robinhood didn't have the liquidity to pay out, in the event that people wanted to cash out. And so like Robinhood just prevented people from buying GameStop stock, which is just illegal, but...
No, I think they were forced to do that, actually.
Well, they allegedly forced to do that by the hedge fund of Citadel. But... it's a really interesting movie, but it's just really funny because it's just all these Redditors are like, fuck Wall Street. And the SEC made up a term called financial terrorism. Like, financial terrorism is now an actual term that gives the federal government powers to step in if something like this happens again. Because all these hedge funds like Melvin Capital went bankrupt because of this GameStop and and Citadel or like JP Morgan, all these other huge banks and hedge funds are like, we don't want that to happen. So I wonder what's going to be another short. I'm not missing out on that. Diamond hands, buddy. Diamond hands. I'm not. So let me know which stock we're shorting, and where I'm not, I don't have diamond hands. If I see I'm up like 500K, sell. I'm selling. Do you have diamond hands?
No, I'd sell out as well.
So like,
I'd wait a little bit, but then But they don't sell at all, right? The diamond hands,
So,
or how does that work?
so like
Just repeat
basically
that
what it
again?
is, it's so diamond hand is just a slang term for like holding the line, right? So Wall Street Bets basically rallied people around of this like do not sell, like just hold, we're going to the moon. Like, that's literally what they had the slogan of, because there's a slang on Wall Street called dumb money. So what dumb money means is people who invest, so they buy high and sell low, because the average investor doesn't know the intricacies of the stock market. So they'll like, oh, I want to get into Tesla. So they'll buy Tesla when it's $1,000, not knowing that stock has volatility, and or like stock goes up and down in prices for those who may not know what volatility means. And what happens is that they'll buy, Tesla at $1,000 a share. I'm just making up. And get nervous when Tesla stocks go to $800 a share, right? They don't understand that's a paper loss. That's not an actual realized loss. But the average person is like, I want my money now. So they will sell and make that unrealized loss that only exists on paper into a realized loss. Mm-hmm. And then Wall Street will come in and buy that $800 stock and then wait for it to go back to 1,000 and north, because they know over the long period of time you're going to have that 10%, increase. So Wall Street calls people who do that, which is unfortunately the vast majority of people don't hold, dumb money, right? So they call people the dumb money. And so what happened was that, basically Wall Street Bets, which is this Reddit forum, kind of just like rallied around this like Wall Street thinks we're retards, like they use that word in the freaking movie, and they're like, we're going to the moon, and they said that was their slogan, like diamond hands, like nobody is selling, do not sell, this isn't about making money. And that's what scared people. They're like, we don't give a flying fuck about how much money we make. We're not making money. We are going to fucking ruin you.
Now they can't be confident anymore. Now it's like we actually have to be careful.
Yeah, because what all this started was that Melvin Capital was shorting GameStop. So basically they were banking on GameStop going bankrupt and collapsing, right? Wall Street goes, or the Wall Street Bets people are like, they think we're dumb. They think that, we are going to sell, or we're going to, we're not moving. And they created this community that millions of people held. Like people didn't sell, which is crazy. And there was this guy named Roy Kitty who would post his balance sheet on Reddit and live stream and is like, I am not selling, I'm holding money. Here's my balance sheet, here's my orders, here's everything, gave out all his financial information, and people believed him. And they held too. They're like, we are gonna sell when you sell, like you are the army, like you're leading the apes, you're leading the stonk bros, like they created this alliance of Reddit. That's basically what I'm gonna call it. And it got so bad, John, that Reddit shut down Wall Street Bets.
They were pressured to shut
They
down.
were pressured to shut it down. Robinhood stopped trading, GameStop. And it was just like, it was crazy. So it's a really good movie. I don't think it's going to get an Oscar, but it's also really funny. Yeah. So I recommend it.
I need to see that movie, yeah.
And it's not a long movie.
Yeah, like I was saying on the last episode, like if you can tell a great story in an hour and 45, do it in an hour and 45. If you need 3 hours, then you need 3 hours. But just make sure that you can actually do it in 3 hours.
Yeah.
So I guess there's a little bit more with like the Oscars topic. It's just a very complex system. It's not like a very straightforward thing. It's not just based on how good your performance is to get a nomination. It's not just about like how good your campaign skills are either. And obviously the more well known you are in the industry, you do kind of get that more attention just for like existing, I guess. If your new movie comes out, it gets more hype that way because you're already an Oscar award nominee or an Oscar award winner. that kind of thing. And like again, like you watch new movies now, they advertise them by saying, "Oh, featuring this actor who's an Oscar Academy Award winner." You remember that, right?
Yeah, I have a quick question. Mm-hmm. This isn't 100% related to the Oscars, but bear with me. What is kind of like, when, movies would be like winner of the Sundance Film Festival or Tribeca Film Festival. Do you think that has like equal clout to the Oscars?
No, not at all.
Really?
Not at all.
Oh, whenever I see like a film that is like winner of, best film at the Sundance Music Festival.
It's not the same. The Oscar awards are like the top awards. That's the one you want. That's the Olympic gold medal.
Oh, wow.
Doing like Tribeca or Sundance, they're like obviously not to shit on the festivals at all. Like they're very necessary festivals. They're great and everything like that. But winning like at Tribeca or Sundance is like kind of like you're playing in college on a college
like
team.
The NCAA,
Yeah, like playing on a college team, and then once you get to the Academy Awards, that's like the Olympics.
Oh, wow.
That's kind of what it is. But like getting recognition from Tribeca or Sundance
like leads you into
the Academy Award nominations. Like if you can let's say like you start off at Tribeca and you get very well known, it's a very popular thing, and then it makes it to theaters, and then from theaters it makes it to the Academy Award nominations. It's like one of those like processes that kind of like gets you known in that industry.
So where is Sundance, or like where is, obviously I know where the Tribeca Film Festival is, but like I've never really heard, or like I've seen obviously like the Sundance Film Festival and all that, like, but where is it? Is it in California or?
Let's see. I think it changes every year.
Oh, it's like a rotating.
Yeah, it's an annual. I just looked it up online right now. It's an annual film festival organized by Sundance Institute, the largest independent film festival in the U.S. with more than 46,660 people attending. From 8 years ago. Like they've had they've done event locations in like Utah, Salt Lake City, Park City, the Tower Theater, Ogden.
So this is like out west, because it's giving like out west vibes.
Probably. I mean, it changes every year to a new. Well, they go back and forth every once in a while, but probably like staging the Sundance Film Festival in New York City is also just a very big expense.
We also have Tribeca, like Like, have you ever been to the Tribeca Film Festival?
I actually have not.
Really? So
I need to go though.
Is it like a festival where you can just walk in, or is it like you have to like?
No, I think you have to pay for like any festival. You have to pay to get in.
Yeah.
And then you pay for like screenings to go see new movies upcoming and things like that. Like you have to pay to have your stuff.
We should do it.
We should. Well, I have to. That's something that I should have done already, but I just haven't gotten to it.
How much is a ticket? I wonder.
Let's see. Let's do Tribeca Film Festival.
Yeah. I'm guessing. Okay. All right. I'm doing over 200. I'm thinking this is gonna be like Coachella, where it's gonna be like $300, $400. And I'm saying that's like to get in the door, not even like screenings or anything like that.
Oh, it's free actually.
Wait, it's free?
Yeah, free screenings and free events.
Really?
Oh, interesting.
So is it like a first come first served basis?
I'm looking up the 2024 festival pass. Oh, you do have to pay for it. Okay. Oh no, the pass to get in and like ticket packages to get in, that's what you pay for. But once you're there, you can view anything you want.
Oh.
Let's see.
All right, I'm saying over $200.
And I think each ticket is what gets you a screening. So let's say if you want to get like a 12 ticket package, that's $350.
Oh wow.
With a $20 fee attached to it.
So $370.
And then if you want to attend their closing night gala by purchasing the Hudson Pass, you get like priority access to like festival screenings, events, immersive exhibits, TV and talks, including director series, storytellers, like getting to meet the cast and directors. That's $1,400.
$1,400, and that's for like one night.
That's to get the gala event where you get to do anything. That's it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then
when is the Tribeca Film Festival?
It is June 5th to the 16th.
Oh wow. You know what? I would think about us doing that.
I'm not going to do that, but I'll do like
you don't want to do the 1,400 one?
No, I'm not doing the 1,400 one. I'll do like either the gift card or there's an 8 ticket package for $225 and a $20 fee.
And these are all like early access movies, right? Like
yeah, like early access to be able to like see like first time screenings a lot of the times before it goes to theaters, or it could be like submitting to Tribeca or Sundance is easier than submitting for the Academy Awards. So like that's like those festivals are like good places for like up and coming filmmakers that want to actually present themselves and get some like notice, like get noticed a lot more. So that's their thing. I would be down to go though.
Yeah, we should consult our third party, Mike.
We should. He'll definitely want to go.
I feel like Mike would do. We can bully him in.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
Let us what you guys think in the audience, or anybody in the audience who's been to the Tribeca Film Festival.
Also, one more thing I didn't touch up on for Oscar campaigns, which this kind of makes it the most political aspect of it, in my opinion, is that there's kind of a thing that gets taken advantage of called a whisper campaign or whispering campaigns. You ever heard of this?
No.
So, whisper campaigns, in a very broad sense, are basically like big time members or voters kind of like speaking to each other behind the scenes, you know, like whispering into each other's ear.
Hence the term whisper campaign.
About like certain things that are going on that the public doesn't know about, but they know about. And that changes their perception of where they should vote or who they should nominate.
Because they think the public will at some point find out what happened. And then
they don't want to
look at the Academy of like, oh, you nominated and gave this person an award.
Yeah. It's one of those times. That's like the most political thing in my opinion, but it does exist. Like one scenario that popped up was, I think it was the movie. Oh, which one was it? Wait, let me Google this to make sure. Yeah, so I was thinking correctly. Did you see the movie Manchester by the Sea?
I know of it, yeah, but I haven't seen it. But I know of it. I wanted to see that movie.
It was, I think it was led by Casey Affleck.
Yeah, didn't it win?
It was nominated for his performance, but as he was doing his Oscars campaign, there was also a whisper campaign going around about how, which basically they damage your chances of getting it. You know, like, 'cause they're like behind the scenes things that you don't know about. So whisper campaigns, well, not whisper campaigns, but whispers soon began to circulate about how Affleck was accused of sexually harassing women who worked on his 2010 film I'm Still Here. And he has since denied allegations and settled out of court with the two women for an undisclosed amount. But like, keep in mind that I'm Still Here came out in 2010, but they're making like whispers about it in, what year did Manchester come out?
I think like 2015.
I'm going to Google real quick.
Yeah, I'm thinking like 2015, 2016, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, it came out in 2016. So it came out in 2016, but people are making whisper rumors about something that happened in 2010. And nobody, and like, again, like it was saying, like it was settled like out of the courtroom. There's no like definitive thing that he's guilty or not guilty. But the main point of like somebody doing a whisper campaign like that, just like, oh, you shouldn't be voting for this guy because he did this shit. You know, it's like, do you really want that on your account? Like that kind of thing, even though it's, or it could be like an actor, or it could be somebody else talking to be like, you know, for this movie that he's being nominated for, I heard he was the biggest piece of shit on set and then he did all these things. But there's no proof, you know, they're just saying
it's just smear campaigns.
They're like smear campaigns, yeah, like you're saying. So that's also another part of it. That's the most political aspect of it, I think. That like they're willing to go like that just to get the nomination or to get the award.
Damn, so people really be like trying so hard.
Yeah.
You know, I think they should have an Oscar category for like best independent film, or like best like small film, or like best film under X amount of budget, or like X. What is it called?
Best independent film. Or best short film, or best product. Yeah, like those categories exist.
Or they should have like a film for like best first time amateur film artists.
Let's see if that is a category. Hold on.
Like, you know.
So there's 24 categories.
I don't think it is. I feel like I would have known. Or like not that I would have known, but I would have heard of like some film.
Okay, so I'll read them off right now. So there's Best Picture, Actor, Actress, Supporting Actor, Supporting Actress, directing, original screenplay, adapted screenplay, cinematography, production design, editing, original score, original song, costume design, makeup, and hairstyling, sound mixing, sound editing, visual effects, foreign language film, animated feature film, animated short, live action short, documentary feature, and documentary short. The Academy also presents scientific and technical awards, special achievement awards, honorary awards, the humanitarian award, memorial award, the Gordon E. Sawyer Award for technological contribution.
Oh, wow.
Although these are not necessarily awarded annually. And then they announced in 2018 that they're doing the Outstanding Achievement in Popular Film.
So if the Academy is listening and you all are going to take my idea, just remember to have me on that board so I can make that decision. Thank you very much. And John, I'm going to bring you up with me. You know.
Thank you, brother. But at the same time, also, like Best Amateur, well, like Tribeca and Sundance are kind of for that, though. Like best, like amateur first-time filmmakers are usually present at festivals like Tribeca or Sundance.
But then, if you win Tribeca or win Sundance, you're basically on track to be nominated at the Academy.
If you can make it to the nomination.
Like, didn't Lady Bird make it to the Oscar nomination process?
Let's check.
Fact checks. We love fact checks. I thought I remember Lady Bird's, or I could be wrong.
It made it up to the Golden Globes, I think.
Oh, it was the Golden Globes.
Yeah, but also got like Chicago Film Critics Association, National Society of Film Critics, Gotham Independent Film Award, Independent Spirit Award, National... Did I say National? Yeah, I said that already. New York Film Critics Circle, Bandung Film Festival for imported film, and the Golden Globe Awards. Oh, and Satellite Auteur Award.
What is that?
Do you know what auteur is?
No.
So auteurs are basically, like a short definition, are singular individuals within the film industry that have a remarkable influence and contribution to the industry through their art form. So they're basically like individuals that you can immediately spot out from watching. If you watch like 10 movies in a row and you said pick the one that belongs to this person.
Oh, like a Martin Scorsese movie.
Yeah, like that makes them an auteur because they're immediately recognizable based on their style. So for example, if you watch a Martin Scorsese movie, you know it's a Scorsese movie. Or you watch a Tarantino movie, you'll know it's his. Or if you watch like there's like certain parts of their craft that they repeat with in their movies that gets copied over a couple times, like you'll recognize it, so you'll be like, oh, it feels like this guy directed it. That makes them an auteur.
Oh.
And there's like a whole like academic like study for them as well. It's a big thing, but I studied it in college as well, so it's a big thing.
Interesting.
So auteur awards like being an auteur is like there's a good and bad thing for it. Being an auteur is a good thing because it makes you recognizable, but being extremely recognizable also means that it limits your craft in a way, because then audiences only want to see what you're used to making.
Yeah, so you can't really experiment or branch out.
Yeah, like when like Scorsese whenever he makes a mob movie, everyone goes out to go see it, right? But then he'll make like a great art film that nobody wants to see because they want to see the mob stuff. You know, it becomes like that. So it's like being an auteur is great, but it can hinder you if you're too specific.
Would you say Clint Eastwood is an auteur? Or like,
yes, I would put him in that category. Like you'll know it's him if you watch it.
Yeah.
He doesn't even have to be in it. As like a director too, you'll know it's a Clint Eastwood movie. Yeah, that's all I have to say. So yeah, like the Oscars and the campaigns, very complicated. It's a very complicated, unfortunately, a very political and social kind of event. But it does exist. So there's good and bad things for it. That's all I have to say.
All I gotta say is if anybody has a minimum of $160,000 to give John and I a $50,000 movie budget, and you can pay $110,000 to have our movie screened at the Oscars, and then be willing to bankroll about an additional $3 million for us to win an Oscar, that would be really appreciated.
Yeah, I'll start a GoFundMe page under this podcast.
Start a GoFundMe right now.
And then with your support.
With your duly support.
We will make it to the Oscars.
We're not guaranteeing a win. We're just saying we'll make it.
We're making progress to get to the
Yeah, we're making progress to get to the Oscars. And then all we just have to say is all of the people who are running against us in the Oscars will just make sock accounts on Twitter. I'm sorry, X. And just start slandering their movies.
Yes.
Just hire an army of bots. Like, if you are willing to spend $1 million just on bots,
and get your whispers ready. You gotta
get
come
your
up
whispers ready. Get
some
the
really
whispers ready.
believable shit.
Yeah. They don't know who we are, so we can just we're indestructible.
Yeah,
we can make
be
a
like,
movie.
who told you this? Oh, this guy told. Oh, what was his name?
Exactly.
It was just some guy, you know.
So just we'll patiently wait for our producers.
And with that, I am going to call it for this episode because we are running long here. So thank you, everyone, for listening to another episode of What's in Your Cup.
Woo-woo.
Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Spotify, and all of our social media pages for upcoming content. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you on the next episode.
Peace.